Hey everybody, it's Tim hitting the beast of the marching arts. Thank you for watching. I have two really cool, fun people here today. We're going to talk about the Summer Symposium for Music for All, which is next week. I want to say hi to Susie Harloff. How are you, Susie?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here to talk to me. And Susan Smith is here. Susan, how are you?
Hey, doing great. It's the Susie show.
I know, and I have to tell you, everybody, I might like get tongue-tied and call the wrong person, whatever, but that's the summer. I'm busy writing drill. Half my brain is in numbers mode. So anything I say is, but anyway, it's next week, everybody. The Music for All Summer Symposium is next week. It starts on June 27th. Of course, the Leadership Weekend precedes that. It's all next week. It's not too late for you to decide to jump in and join. So that's what we're going to talk about today too. So Susan, first off, before we talk about that, where are you right now? Because I know you sort of stopped in the middle of a busy day. Tell us where you are.
I have, and I hope my Wi-Fi is okay because it seems a little sketchy. Can you hear me? We're good? Okay.
Yeah, I think
I'm actually in Washington, D.C., actually in Virginia, at the National Association for Music Education's National Assembly. It's where all the state leaders and council chairs and the National Executive Board gets together and talks about things that are going well and where we see things going in the future. And we just had our opening session with our new president, Scott Sheehan from Pennsylvania. He's a band director from there. And honored our immediate past president, Dr. Mackie Spradley, who's kind of helped us get through the pandemic. So, and I didn't say what I'm doing. I'm the chair of the Collegiate Advisory Council, engaging our collegiates, and I'm also the president-elect of the Southern Division of NAFME. So,
okay, everybody. So Susan Smith is going. Like this week, she's over there saving the world of band. Next week, she's at the Summer Symposium, teaching the world and saving the world. Like Susan, you must be exhausted. Where do you keep your cape? Like, so you're flying from the like, do you put that in your carry-on or what?
Well, I'm also working on my PhD right now. So when I'm not in these meetings, I'm pretty tired. My husband tells me I do too much, who is, somebody who, we're both married to people who do too much. So
I did two loads of laundry this morning.
So I have two suitcases, one for camp and one for this. And convention.
All right, well, we're going to assume she keeps her superhero cape in one of those pieces of luggage. She's not talking, everybody. She's not telling us about it. Now, Susie, you're plenty busy, too. You were just in Las Vegas with all the big-time WGI stuff, right?
Yeah, I sat in on the WINS Advisory Board session, kind of as a guest of my husband, and representing Avon there. And it's really fun kind of being in those talks as the WINS division is growing and kind of getting its footing in the WGI community. So it was fun.
Very cool. And of course, you will be there next week at the Summer Symposium. We've had a conversation with both of you about what you do there. But Susie, why don't you start in, tell us, what do you do there? What's your role for the week at Summer Symposium? By the way, everybody, it's not too late to go, as I was mentioning. Go to camp.musicforall.org. And you can still go and sign up and participate, or put it on your calendar for next year if you know you can't go this year because it's
last week of June.
Yeah. So Susie, tell us what you do there.
Well, I am the Color Guard Division Coordinator, so I plan all the schedules and hire all the faculty and make sure we have the locations that we need to rehearse all week. And we actually have this year 2 tracks in the Color Guard Division. We have our regular student track, which is high school students that come and spend a week learning how to spin and dance and perform and be good leaders and good humans. And then we also have our Color Guard Instructor Academy. So those are instructors, directors, technicians from around the country that teach Color Guard. And we work with them all week on just improving their skills and how to be better teachers and designers, and mostly for them having fun with each other and meeting people from around the country who do the same things that they do. So it's kind of twofold. Now, the week that I'm there, I put out a lot of fires, and I'm there to support the staff and faculty and make sure that everything's going smoothly. And I do teach a couple of sessions to directors and instructors. So that's my job.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. And I love the conversation we had, Susie. Everybody go to marchingartseducation.com, click on the BOA tab, and then find the Symposium series. And you'll see a bunch of conversations we've had over the last few months about everything that happens there. And Susie, we had such a great conversation. You had an instructor who had been part of the instructor track, and then you had a student who'd been a part of the student track. They both talked about how it was life-changing for them, literally.
Yeah. We have a lot of instructors and students that come back year after year. It's not a one and done deal. A lot of people come back multiple times because they get that much out of it. And Theo, the guest on that broadcast, I think he's been at our camp 7 times, and he runs a very successful program in Texas. And yeah, the camp, not only has it affected him, like what he's learned there, but he has affected the camp by what he has brought to it. You know, that's the other great thing about camp is the sharing amongst the campers. Like they'll learn a lot from us, but they'll also learn a lot from each other.
Well, Susan, when the conversations that you've been a part of, we talked a lot about that. It's really about relationships, networking, getting to know people, building your own network and the relationships you have with others in the activity.
Absolutely. Well, I also have an unique experience because my own daughter was in the color guard track for 5 years, and I snuck her in as an 8th grader, and she would cry to get there every year. And she had made such great connections with not just the instructors, but the fact that they had the opportunity to be with the drum corps when Crown came, when Cavaliers were there. And she got the same person that she kind of was mentored by a couple of years when he marched Crown. And then she actually went on to march drum corps as well. And so it's life-changing for sure. Those students get such a connection. And it's so safe. I know I'm supposed to be talking about directors, but it's so safe, and they feel like they can make a mistake or learn and not be afraid or intimidated by all these people from all over the country. It's the best learning experience I think a student can do in terms of a summer camp. For sure in the color guard track, I know that as a parent. But yeah, as far as directors, we talked about this when you and I talked. It's like Midwest in shorts, right? Where else can you walk up to Greg Bim and say, "Tell me how to fix my show," or talk about logistics with somebody, or with Cam, somebody on staff, somebody is there as a clinician. And also the great connections are the ones that people make with other people, other campers. They're ones that they continue to talk in group chats and support each other. And that's really what we're about. It's an unusual time for music educators of all kinds. And the more connections we can make and lift each other up, I think the longer we'll be able to keep people in our activity, doing what we do. So it's really vital, the work we do.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, because we've all seen a lot of people sort of deciding to leave music education, going to do other things. And of course, they're doing great work wherever they are, but we hate to lose those educators, and we need to support each other now more than ever. So that I like that idea of, I've had somebody once describe to me when they did their summer camp kind of experience, they said it was their veggies for the year. Like you have lots of dessert and you dig into the meat of it all, but like they talked about, it was the veggies. It was like really nurtured them and got them ready to start again the next time. And I feel like that's right now. Next week is a great time before we launch back into band camp, which is coming up really soon for a lot of people. You need to sort of get your veggies. Like Susie, you know what I'm talking about. You have to rest and get ready and get rejuvenated and re-inspired.
Yeah, and I could talk for 10 minutes about this. Definitely about the campers. I'll get back to them. But the faculty on the color guard track, especially, many of us have been teaching this together for years. And we always talk about, like, it's our favorite week of the year. Not only because we get to be with great people, but it inspires us as color guard people who have been doing this for a long time. Just remembering why we do the activity, watching the kids come to camp and be so excited, and watching each other creating and watching each other teaching. Like, it is just, I would go as far as not just veggies, but like a Monster energy drink. You know what I mean? Like it motivates you. And then those campers that come, both students and adults, you are surrounded by people who want to be there, who love this as much as you do, who want, they're sponges, they're soaking up everything. So you kind of leave behind any negativity that might be around you in the real world, and you just spend this week immersed in joy and learning, and it is very inspiring and definitely a good dose of veggies.
Right. And Susan, same thing for you, of course, is that it's just nice to sort of be around good people who are into the same kind of thing you're into. I remember like the first time I went to All-State Band, or when I was in drum corps, or whatever, like you're around all these people and they're just as super geeked out and nerdy about all this stuff and just as motivated. It's wonderful to be around sort of your people.
Absolutely. You learn so much. so an idea that you get from somebody on something that might work, or just to try something new, or to think about their thought process from designers to the thing I like about camp this summer especially is that we have some like hands-on, get your hands dirty kind of activities. I'm doing a session on just logistics in general. Some people are intimidated about coming to something like a Bands of America show because the logistics seem so huge, and the way that I did it when I had my band at St. James, we went to several regionals and grand nationals, and I just started watching other people. I started kind of stalking what Broken Arrow did on their schedules, or how they fed the band, or whatever the best did. And that's the thing about camp, is you get a chance to just sit and talk, and also learn from people in a comfortable situation, how they do what they do. And they're so willing to share. They want to give this information away, because that's what we all want to do, right? We don't want to be the end of it. We want to share what we have and know with other people. And during the pandemic, especially, people have given so freely of the information that they have to make sure that everyone's just growing. And I think connections socially too. Sometimes we've been really kind of isolated. Directors get a chance to come and have some social time through things that I don't even know if we're calling it this anymore. We used to have the beer and brat, and truth be known, that's where I met my husband. Really, it's at the beer and brat and summer symposium. He said we'll try a date in June or something at band camp, and we did, and that was the rest is history. So there's an opportunity to make connections that way too.
Okay, everybody. So not only is it great professionally, but you could find the next love of your life at the Music for All Summer Symposium next week. It's not too late to jump. Now we've got people's attention. Now people are paying attention. Yeah, that's right.
It's good not lines, too late, don't I, Tim?
Find a like-minded person who's just into all this as much as you are. They could be at the Summer Symposium next week. It's not too late. Go to camp.musicforall.org, and you can still show up. In fact, when I was talking to Jeff Young about this on another one of these recent conversations, he was talking about, like, you could show up the first day, and if you haven't registered, they'll still be happy. There's going to be space. They'll be happy to have you there and work you into the whole thing. So it's not too late. Now, I guess you might want to double check and call the office and make sure you have that spot, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a problem. It's very exciting. So Susie, it's next week. What are you kind of said this, but I'm asking you, what are you most looking forward to? And then Susan, you can answer.
I am most looking forward to watching our students come back. There's probably going to be a lot of them that have never been at camp before, because we lost a couple of years. We're going to have a lot of new, fresh faces that are going to get to experience for the first time. And just the first time they do a little show and tell, or they spin and dance together, and just watching that energy and excitement that they have. I just can't wait to feel in person the energy of our students coming to camp.
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to see it from a different seat this time, but I love the drum corps show on Friday night. Because these kids get a chance. Some of them have never been to a drum corps show. And this is what I tell people. I call it travel ball for band, right? That's what drum corps is. It's the highest level. It's our professional marching arts. And to see some of these students watch that, and they are so pumped up. And it's a lot of the first shows for the drum corps too. So they get a little too pumped up sometimes in that situation, and they're professionals. But just to watch everybody enjoy making music and performing and spinning and dancing, it's really a great way to watch. There's a lot of great drum corps shows, right? Going up to the Northeast or Allentown, those kinds of shows, they all have their own kind of allure to it. But this one, because there's so many people that want to be them when they grow up, it's like they're professional baseballs players, right? That's who they want to be. And so they so appreciate everything. It's a great experience. Even if you're not at camp and you want to come to that show on Friday night, I would really suggest that one.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, the color guard track, we have Carolina Crown in residence at the camp. The color guard track gets to spin and dance with their color guard kids. Our marching band track gets to perform on the field with Carolina Crown. And it's always fun to me because we always have campers that have never seen or heard of drum corps. So they will spin with Crown, and go through the activity with them and be like, okay, these people are good. This is great. And then they watch them on Friday and they're, they get it. And then we also have those campers who are big drum corps fans. And so the second Carolina Crown Guard comes walking through the quad, it's like the Beatles mania, and then watching them just scream for the kids on the field. It's really a fun experience.
Tim, I will say that for directors as well, because we have a lot of opportunity for them to interact with the staff of this year Crown, and it has been Crown for many years, but not only to talk to their design team in a session to hear how they put it all together, because that's kind of a mystery to people sometimes, because there's so many layers, to what the drum corps do above and beyond what we do in the marching band world. But then they also get a chance to go out to be a part of their warm up, to sit in the circle with Matt Harloff and see how and why they do what they do. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because it's just a really special thing that you don't get to do anywhere else. You're kind of on the outside of the circle. And this opportunity at camp, like nowhere else, you get to be on the inside of the circle. There's another good line for you.
Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that Matt Harloff does that great Inside the Circle stuff. Everybody should check that out too. In fact, I did a podcast recently with Matt where we talked about that. He's got new videos out in that whole video 360 T360 thing that goes along with the Inside the Circle. So it's really, really cool. And I sort of got him to talk a little bit about Crown. And I'm actually having a conversation this afternoon with Rick Subel about what's going on with Crown too. All those interviews will be out very soon. So, I mean, I think all the drum corps are going to be like really, really good this year. And I can tell you that all the news from Crown, who's going to be there next week in residence, is that, wow, what a summer they're having. Like Susie, they've had a few years to like really get ready, right?
Yeah, I will tell you, my husband is not a part of the design team of Crown, so he's not really in on the early stages of what the show is going to be. So it takes him a while to kind of buy into the excitement of the show. He has been excited about this show for a long time. Like, he's really excited about what they're putting on the field this year. So
can't wait. Well, listen, everybody, it's next week. It's not too late. If you're watching this and you're thinking, maybe I should just go check this out. Or if you want to put it on your calendar for next year so you don't miss it, go to camp.musicforall.org to find out more about it. You can sign up, still go this week. It's next week, 27th through July 2nd. And by the way, the Leadership Weekend starts the weekend before, starting on the 25th. And Fran Kick is going to be doing a couple of these live broadcasts that you're seeing right now with me next week, live from the event. So everybody watch for me talking to Fran Kick next week. I don't know where he's going to be at camp or who he's going to be talking to or what's going to be going on, but it's going to be fun. So everybody watch for that. Susie, final thoughts before we go to anybody that's watching about next week.
I love what you said. If you have nothing to do next week and you can get yourself to Muncie, Indiana, come join us. We do have the Directors Academy that Susan was talking about. Of course, Color Guard. We have a marching band track. There is a wonderful drum major camp and a percussion academy. And then there's also music production camp. So those are the tracks that we're doing this summer. If you're interested and available, get on the website. It is definitely not too late. But if it is too late for you or that's too far to be here next week, definitely look into next year. Put it on your calendar. Look on Facebook. There's lots of groups out there. We definitely have some for the Color Guard tracks, just to keep you engaged throughout the year and get you ready for next summer.
It's going to be really exciting. I had a really interesting conversation about that for music production track. I mean, you're in the studio actually like doing the real thing. It's very, very cool.
And they have incredible facilities at Ball State. The studios there.
Really, really top-notch stuff. As I mentioned before, go to Marching Arts Education, search for the Symposium series. It's right there on the BOA tab. And then you will see all the conversations that we've had over the last few months, getting ready for this, talking about what it's going to be like. You can learn more about that too. And Susie and Susan are both there starring in some of those conversations. So you guys can see that. Susan, what would you say as we're finishing up the conversation?
Well, I would say first to directors, the time that I started bringing my students to camp as a band director, after my own daughters came, was a turning point. It was a tipping point for my program because more people understood what needed to be done and that there were opportunities out there. That there, I always tried to say there's always somebody better than you, right? But you get to learn from the best of the best. So they really opened their eyes up as far as a student. And in terms of directors, attending something like this can feel risky, right? You're taking new you're jumping out there. It's kind of risky, and you're taking a chance. But that's how you get better at anything: is being bad at something or taking a risk to learn something new. And as I said, I've started my PhD, and it's hard. It's risky to learn something new, but I learn something every day. And all you got to do is get to camp. All you got to do is get to Muncie, and you'll understand why we all keep coming back.
Right. And just like I learned doing all these podcasts and webinars over the years, you will find the same thing if you show up there. everybody is really nice. They're happy to tell you anything they can do to help you. They'll tell you how they do it. They'll answer your questions. So it can be a little intimidating when these people are sort of these rock stars in our activity. But I can tell you that once you start talking to them, you realize they're just like Susie and Susan here. They're important people. They've done great work. We all look up to them. But you can see they're just as nice as they can be, easy to talk to. That's really the atmosphere there. So thanks.
It really is music for all. It's not just music for some. It's music for all.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Susie and Susan, this was really fun. I hope you have just the best time in the world next week. I know you're both busy doing stuff this week. Susan, you can get back to your conference and save the world a band. But I'm really glad that you guys both talked to me. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Again, go to camp.musicforall.org to learn more about it, whether you can go next week or sometime in the future. Susie and Susan, thank you. This was fun.
It's fun. Thanks, Tim.
Appreciate it, everybody.